Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Mohawk Valley Sports Watch. Thanks for making us part of your Saturday morning here with the crew. We got Coach Pags is actually at hockey this morning. Coach Medicis has a game today at CBA Albany, so he's not going to be on with us. The stat man might jump on, so we'll see who's on here with me this morning. Great show for you here this morning. We're going to talk to Lehigh Head Football Coach, New York Mills alumni Kevin Cahill here in just a minute. And then at the bottom of the hour, we're going to talk Whitesboro football on a magical run to the state championship. Coach Schmidt and then his quarterback nephew, Memphis Ferguson, is going to join us at about 9:30. So let's see. I think we got Coach Cahill on. We do. Let's see if we can pull him on now. Coach, what's happening?
What's up, Rock? How are you?
Good, buddy. Listen, don't get mad at me. I was coming down here this morning in my basement, down, and I put a Fordham shirt on. So kind of ignore the F this morning.
You're representing the league. That's what we really care about. So
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. So, Coach, we talked to you in the beginning of the season, and we were saying year two. What can we expect in year two? And I'm not sure, probably other than maybe yourself and your program, anybody expected the year you guys were going to have. What went into that quick turnaround?
yeah, it was really halfway through the year. We had a tough loss against Bucknell, and then we had a really bad loss up at Yale. And after the game, we just had a really honest conversation, and then the players took over, the seniors took over, and we just found a way to win a couple games, and then it just that's how it goes when you have enough talent, and some of our talent was young and was adjusting to college football, and needed to make some mistakes to learn from, and they kind of grew as the season went on too. So it all started with the players, the seniors, buying into what we were talking about, and becoming a player-led program, which is ultimately the goal.
And Coach, now you have the season that you guys had this year. Now everybody in the Patriot League will be coming for you next year, and the roles, and I guess you can say even myself, I had you guys kind of picked in the middle to the
Yeah,
bottom this coming year.
yeah.
But how does that change next year now that you guys win the Patriot League? Now the eyes are going to be on you guys. A little bit more pressure on you guys.
Well, that's how the outside world looks at it. We don't. We look at it as what we can control is how we play, how we prepare, what we present on a Saturday for a game. That's the only thing we can control. We can't control your opinion, and I agree with your opinion. We should have been picked last in the league or second to last in the league because that's what our record indicated. That's what our recent history has indicated. Now we'll be, we'll be probably in the top 25. We'll probably be picked to win the league. It's just how it goes, and that's everybody's opinion on last year's team. So next year's team will be different, and we've got to work to put our best product out there. And we always talk about, can we play our best brand of football on Saturday? If we do and we win, that's great. If we play really, really good and we lose, tip your cap to the other team, and they're a little bit better than you are, and you got to get back to work. So we can't control what opinions are out there, but we know the expectations have changed, and we have to adjust the way we prepare that way.
And I know that this year for you guys, coming in, you were pretty optimistic about the team, but I feel like college football and really all sports is like, what have you done for me lately? And you see a lot of coaches at the Power Four that it's like, okay, you got the NIL money, you hit the transfer portal. It's so different for the Patriot League and the Ivy League because you guys don't um, necessarily have the same tools as some of the Power Four. And I saw you guys signed. I think it was what, 6 guys you guys signed in the early signing period, and you guys signed guys from all over the place.
Yeah, we did, and our focus is in like a 4-hour radius of Bethlehem, and there's a bunch of different reasons why, but that's kind of our focus. But then our brand is out there. We can sell that we're a top 15 academic school in the country, and we boast about that. We brag about that because that's going to get you a different type of person to come in here. And so we do have a different philosophy than I think a lot of the colleges that are in the forefront. Like NIL isn't really affecting us too much. We sell NIL as what your starting salary is going to be when you graduate. That's far more important than a few bucks while you're in college. Transfer portal is there. It doesn't affect us. It's so hard to get a kid to transfer into school here because of the credits towards degree and all of the credits transferring in and all the real academic reasons why you play college athletics. That's still true here in our league. So we're a little bit different. We're very, very relationship built. We're going to spend a lot of time with our players, get to know them, spend time with them, and so you make this place such a great place to be that people don't want to leave.
Coach, I always used to say when I was coaching high school, and this was just at that level, that I always wanted to play in games that meant something for us, whether it was a rivalry game. Your rivalry get this year had a huge impact. Was a huge game for you guys. It was win the Patriot League title and get in, and you guys won 38-14. But talk to us again. I know you talked about that rivalry in the preseason, but talk about how special a rivalry that is.
It was for me personally. It was a huge change. A year ago, we played in the exact same game, and
Yep.
we got beat, and they won the championship, and they were dancing on our field right in front of us, and it was just like, okay, here we go. This is real. And that's what we want. I talked to Coach Troxel before the game. That's what we want that rivalry to be. Hopefully at some point we're both undefeated in the league, and it's for the winner take all, and that's what that rivalry we want that rivalry to be. But it's pretty cool that this rivalry that we play in, has crowned the champion the last 2 years. And it was special this year. It was. I'll tell you this: I've been in a lot of rivalry games in different places. This one was crazy. I've never been in a game where a goalpost got torn down and carried to a river, and it was mayhem for a little while here. It was pretty cool.
I think it was on ESPN. Didn't you guys make ESPN ripping the goalpost down?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I saw
Well,
something.
hey, anyway, all news is good news, right?
Well, it was really funny because my wife and I was watching the game, and my wife's like, "You're watching the Lehigh Lafayette game?" Because there were so many rivalries on, that day, big
Yeah.
games. My wife was like, "You're
Yeah.
watching this one?" I said, "Yeah, I gotta watch the Lehigh Lafayette game." It's pretty cool. But, so Coach, what was it like for you guys in the team to actually watch that selection show and see your name be drawn? And listen, I'm gonna be honest with you, I got into it with a guy on Twitter who runs FCS Nation, and
Oh, I
of
liked
course,
it.
I was pumping you guys up, and he goes, "There's no way. There's no way they beat Richmond, whatnot." And I'm watching the game. I said, "What a comeback win for you guys!"
Yeah.
But how cool was it to watch the show and see you guys on there?
It was awesome. Just for the players, it was they were up there, they were enjoying it, and we knew we were in. We knew we were going somewhere. It was just cool for our program, for the alumni, for everybody. Just because that's what I've known Lehigh to be, is champions and going to the playoffs and doing that, and that being consistent. And for the first time since 2017, I had a chance to go, and then to win for the first time since 2011 was fantastic. When we drew Richmond, I was taken back. I thought they'd be a top 8 seed because of the CAA, but when they were the 9, I was like, okay, we're playing them next year in our opener because they're joining our conference. They're joining the Patriot League. So our kids got excited about that. They got excited, like, this is just a Patriot League game then. Let's go win another Patriot League game. And they rallied around that and remained focused on what we had to do. And the win against Richmond was probably one of the most impressive wins I've been associated with, just with the emotional toll. We lost 2 players that got carted off the field, and both were fine afterwards. But just to watch a teammate, get carried off in an ambulance, and then another one later on in the game for precautionary reasons. It was just very emotional, and the kids just fought all the way to the end, and that was pretty special.
I just kept saying to myself, "Keep this thing close. Keep this thing close. Let's get into the fourth quarter." And you guys used a big fourth quarter, and I know you were happy with it, but run the football, play really good defense, and it's nice to see you guys took advantage of that. But you had some special kids this year, underclassmen, upperclassmen. Seemed like it was a special group.
And they molded together better than you could ask. And that's all the seniors, buying into these young kids, coming in and being a part of, just being part of the family. It's a true brotherhood. They bought into it. It's not that easy every year, and next year will be different because there'll be different personalities. And but the way these kids all bought in together was pretty special. And I honestly felt like I had the best seat in the house. I just sit back and watch and just try not to mess it up and just let the kids have fun. And they took over.
Well, I think 9 wins, Coach, was the most since, I think, 2016, I think I read for Lehigh, which is crazy because when I was at Fordham, I graduated in '02. There was a couple really good years where it was like the Patriot League ran either through Lehigh or it ran through Colgate.
Yeah.
And there was a couple really good years back then that Lehigh was really good. So it's nice to see that, the season that you guys had this year. The other thing I know we talked about in the preseason, I said it's always good to have a great coaching staff around you, and
Oh
and
yeah,
I feel, and I said this in the preseason when I was talking about all the teams, I think you guys have one of the best coaching staffs,
yeah.
not only just in the Patriot League, but I think in the entire college football. How special is that to have guys that have had head coaching experience with you and just the camaraderie and the closeness that you guys all have?
It's fantastic. Having an offensively Dan here. Dan is, he runs such a good system. He does such a good job. He relates so well with the kids. The kids love him, and it allows me to be a head coach. I don't have to worry about the offense. I'm involved just enough to tick everybody off and get in the way, but it's comforting just to let them go. And there's just an experienced group on the offensive side of the ball, and then Rich Nagy on defense and Mike Kasherba, as the safeties and special teams. They've been in the fire, they've done it, and they're motivated differently, and it's fun just to be around them. And the fire exists in those guys, like more so than ever before. You can see it in their eyes on game day, like let's get after this. And it's awesome. And it's we have fun at work. Before we went out and played Idaho, we had, we're sitting down and getting ready to go out for warm-ups, and it's staff. I mean, we're just laughing, we're just having a good time and joking around, and there was no pressure on us and at all throughout the whole season. We played in a playoff game from whatever, October 30th or whatever, the last week of October, all the way through. If we lost any of those games, we weren't going to the playoffs. And we didn't put pressure on ourselves. We just had fun because it's a fun group to be around. We're all working hard, and the kids' best interests are at the forefront.
So then you guys draw Idaho, and you got to go all the way up to this. What, the Kibby? Was it the Kibby Dome?
Kibby Dome, yeah,
How
yeah.
loud was it? Loud?
Yeah, well, it was very loud. They put their band, which is actually a really impressive band, right behind our bench. It's like the Carrier Dome or whatever that's called now.
Yep.
It's like the dome without the upper level, so it's just the first level right there, and it's pretty with nobody in the end zones. So it was right like that, and then their student section was directly behind our bench, so it was really really loud by our bench, and it was fairly loud on the other side. But I mean, there were some interesting conversations being had from the student section to our bench. I say this now. I still hear this piercing female voice, and used every version of the F word possible and some new ones. I was starting to write them down. These are some interesting versions of the F word, and their opinions of us was pretty impressive. So, but that's what it's all about. That's the fun part. And our kids did a great job with it and just laughing about it and embracing it and enjoying it, because that's the fun part.
Yeah, and I believe that that Idaho coach just got the New Mexico job.
Yeah, yeah, he
Um,
did. Great guy, great guy. I had a chance to talk to him the night before the game and everything. Really, really good, humble human being.
so what was the message? What was the message after the game? And just when did it all sink in, the season that you guys had? And now, like I said, the tough part is you got to build off this season, put this
Yeah,
season behind, and go get ready for another
yeah,
season. You mentioned Richmond coming in, which I think is going to be great for the Patriot League.
yeah, yeah.
But what was the message after the game?
Just proud of them, proud of the way they fought, proud of the way, nothing to be embarrassed about. Just proud to represent Lehigh in a really positive way. And we weren't supposed to be here. The only ones that believed in us was us, and the only ones that thought we could get here was us. And now we've got something to build on. We've gotten this program back to where it should be. Now the hard part is to keep it there. The easy part is to climb when nobody's looking at you. That's the easy part. But when you're there and everybody notices you, that's the hard part, is to continue to stay there. And you're going to get everybody's best shot. Nobody's going to be overlooking you. And that's where we have to grow. And at some point here, I'll get a chance to actually realize what just happened. I mean, we got off the plane in Idaho and we hit the road recruiting, and it's just been, trying to recruit your players to stay. That's different now with the transfer portal,
Yep.
and now the coaches are on the road recruiting. So, looking forward to this dead period coming up and getting a chance to look back and see what the heck just happened in the last 6 months.
Coach, I know you saw the news on Coach DeCoste, and
Yeah.
Colgate's going to go in a different direction. When you heard that news, what'd you make of that?
I texted Stan right away. It's just disappointing. It's really disappointing. You got a great person, who's a very good leader, who does everything for that institution, has had a bad year. In reality, last season, if we had beaten Lafayette in the rivalry game, Colgate was co-champs. And that's how close this whole thing is. And I strongly disagree with it. I just think and Stan's a really good friend of mine. And I strongly disagree with what's going on. But some people make decisions, it's way beyond my choice. But Stan's a heck of a coach, even better person. I would love for my kids to play for him. I just think he does it the right way.
Yeah, I think a lot of people this way would echo that same. I was shocked when I heard the news, and I don't know if they've filled that position yet, but
Yeah,
we were shocked this way. So I just wanted to
yeah,
curious what your thoughts were.
yeah.
So who do you like in the FC? Who's going to win this thing?
You got to look at Montana State, and we got a chance to look at them a little bit because we beat in Idaho. We were going to Montana State, and they're a different animal. And we played Idaho, and Idaho lost by 10 to Oregon, and in the opener, and they beat Wyoming. So they're 1-1 in the FBS games, and Montana State they just played really really efficient. I actually caught a game. It was a random 10 o'clock at night game or whatever it was. It was them versus New Mexico early in the year, and they were down in New Mexico, and they found a way to come back against New Mexico. And the fact that everything runs through Bozeman is a good thing for them. And then North Dakota State is obviously the powerhouse. They're always going to be good. And then it's South Dakota State. It's Midwest, man. It's all running through the Midwest right now. They get those Midwest boys, and they're doing a good job with that. So that's the goal, is to get to that level.
So will you get a chance to watch the college football playoff now? Will you get a chance to sit down and watch some college football? Who do you like?
Yeah, I haven't watched. You don't watch I don't watch. I don't get a chance to watch a lot of college football. I didn't realize it. Dan and I were having a conversation yesterday about next weekend, and we're just finishing up a recruiting weekend this weekend, and next weekend we should not have to have one. And he's like, "Oh, good, we can just sit down and watch college football." And I was like, "What do you mean?" It's like the playoffs start next week. And I was like, "Oh crap, already?" In my head, I'm still in November, in the middle of November. It's just been such a whirlwind, and I'm like, "Oh, that's right. That's right around the corner." So I'm just excited to see it. Everybody's griping about how they got to do it, and just look at the FCS model. We've been doing it for years.
Yep. Yeah, no, for sure. I think that's the way to go. So it'll be fun to watch. And I was a little disappointed this morning though, Coach, because I got to tell you, I ordered a Lehigh shirt. I was online. I ordered one, and I thought I'd have it on for today. It didn't come in yet. So
okay,
the next time you and I talk, I will
you gotta
have
send me your address. I'll make sure we'll express that up there. If I can get a picture of you in a Lehigh shirt doing the next one, it'd be a lot better than watching that F on this thing.
I will make sure I have it on. I know I asked you before, Coach. You coming this way at all over the holidays, or you're not gonna be around?
I don't know if my mom and dad are listening right now, but I got to figure out how to get back up there and get home. It was great to go down to Idaho. My parents came out with us to Idaho, and
Awesome.
they flew on the charter and all that stuff. So that was pretty special. And they were at Richmond. They've been very involved, and so I got to get back up there and get back up to Utica and hang out for a little bit.
Well, if you come down this way, make sure you shoot me a message or something. We'll get you on the radio and talk some sports. But
Would love to.
Listen, I can't thank you enough. I know I always reach out to you to come on, and you've always been great to me. I love following you. Couldn't be more prouder of you, and I know this area is proud of you too, Coach.
I appreciate it, Rock. Thank you very much, and give Curtis my best too. I think you mentioned he's coming on too. Curtis, we're both Springfield guys, and the Pride went down yesterday, but a lot of cool text threads and stuff for Sprint, and very proud of Curtis. He's done a heck of a job over there at Whitesboro, and I always keep track of the Whitesboro New Hartford rivalry because those are two of my guys right there.
Yep, Coach Kramer's a great guy as well. I coached him Little League with Coach. His son and my son are the same age. So I got a chance to work with him, and he's first class, man. He's the best I've been around, and Coach Schmidt's good too. They're both great guys that come on here with me. So I'll make sure I tell him you said hi.
Please do. Rock, appreciate having me on.
Have a good holiday, buddy.
Thanks, you too.
All right, Coach. Thank you.
Bye.
So that was cool. That was Coach Cahill. And I like I told him, I did order a Lehigh a shirt, but it didn't come in. It was supposed to be in on Thursday, and I was going to try to wear it this morning for him. And then this morning I was kind of scrambling around a little bit, and I threw on my shirt, and I'm like, it's the Fordham shirt. But like you said, I'm representing the Patriot League, and nobody loves the league better than I do. So, Coach, I appreciate that. Thanks for jumping on here with me this morning. So in just a little bit, we'll be talking to Coach Curtis Schmidt and nephew Memphis Ferguson, the standout, both two-way player for Whitesboro. Their season just finished up in the state championship game, back-to-back state championship games for Coach and his team. So let's see. I think we got them on. Let's see if I can bring them both on. What's going on, guys?
Nothing.
What's happening?
Coach Cahill said to say hello.
Yeah, Coach Cahill, a good man and had a great year, and both Springfield guys. So
yeah, that's what he said. He said he always follows the Whitesboro-New Hartford rivalry, and I said we got to get it back first. That game, but yeah, he said to say hello.
All right.
So Memphis, I'll start with you on a great season. First, congratulations on a great season and a great run. If you had time to kind of sit back and think about your high school career, your football career, and look back on, you get a chance to play in 2 state championships. You got a chance to play with some really good players at Whitesboro. But have you had time to sit back and think of your career yet?
Yeah, I thought about it the other day. I was thinking about it. It's crazy how many games I played in the span of 3 years. And playing with so many great guys, like friends for life. And like thinking back, it just means a lot to me just playing with those guys.
And I know going into this season, and as I was talking to Coach earlier in the year, I had said I think we knew you guys had a special group, and this group can do some really good things. And there was a good chance, not only a sectional title, get back to that state championship game. How special was it to play with this group, throughout your season this year and getting back and playing in the state championship?
Yeah, it was super special. I mean, playing with the guys in my grade from last year who played, and then all the new guys this year too. I mean, it really helped develop them, and it helped like develop us as people too. Because at practices, when you're working that long, the coaches just help develop us so well. Into men.
Coach, I know I asked you, and I know this is your nephew we got on here. What was it like to coach this guy, all the way through? And I'm sure you were probably just as hard on him, if not harder on him, probably than anybody else. What was it like to coach him?
Well, it was special. This group as a whole is really close to me, the whole senior class, because of the unique situation with Memphis involved. I was a little more involved with this group when they were younger, at least as far as seeing them play and having interest in them because of Memphis. So very close with this senior group. It's hard to see them go, but to coach your family is extremely tough. My father was extremely tough on me. And I was always told at a young age, if you're going to start for me, meaning my dad, you better be the best. And that's the same thing I kind of carried on with my own kids in Memphis is, when you're coaching family and then you got others involved, other children involved from, like other families or whatever. I always tell them, if you're going to win a position, you better flat out be the best, because if not, I'm starting someone else's kid. And the expectations are high, very demanding. I talk to them differently. I can talk to them differently. I don't have to worry about my sister calling the school on me and getting me in trouble. So it's hard for me, but I'm sure it's much harder for him and my own kids. Because it's just a different situation and how demanding I am. But it was really special to coach him. He's a special kid. He plays the game the right way. He has an old school mentality. He's that tough guy that, teams are built around, and you need guys like that to be successful. So it was really special. And I think last week, a couple days after the game, it still hadn't hit me yet. And then you sit down and start reflecting, and you're like, wow, this is over, and so that's tough. And the banquet will be tough just because of how close I was with this whole senior group.
And Coach, you got a chance to coach 2 really special players in Kyle and in Memphis here. And, I know you guys have had so many good players come through there over the years, and, you guys don't rebuild, you reload at Whitesboro, and you guys have always done it the right way. But Talk to us a little bit about some of the differences between Kyle and Memphis and just what it was like to coach both these guys.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys put up video game numbers. I was looking at Memphis. I was looking at your numbers, and I'm like, all right, you threw for over 2,000 yards. You rushed for over 1,000 yards. You threw 32 touchdowns. Kyle ran for 2,300 yards. I'm like, these are video game numbers.
Yeah. I think they're actually very like they're kind of the same player. They're both tough, hard-nosed runners, fullback type kids at the quarterback position who both could throw the ball. Just fortunate to have them back to back, and they're both leaders. They're respected by their teammates. They're respected by their opponents. They play the game the right way. They play with a lot of energy and enthusiasm. And at the end of the day, if you're going to be successful in this game at the high school level or the college level, you have to flat out love the game. And I think both of them love the game of football, and that has a huge part into their success. Ultra competitive, but with Kyle, we ran it a little bit more, and with Memphis, we actually threw it a little bit more. And I just think that we were fortunate to have two really, really good quarterbacks in a 2-year span. And like I said, Memphis typically would have been a starter as a sophomore for us at quarterback. Obviously Kyle was there and he played tailback and allowed us to do a lot of different things. But two special guys, and I think we got a really good one coming up next year too, that is going to be able to run the ball and throw it as much as we need to. So we're in a good situation here.
So Memphis, you guys get back to the state championship game, and it was so great to see the community that always rallies behind you guys and Whitesboro sports in general. But how special was it to see the community get behind you guys and really carry you guys into the state championship game?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, to do it 2 years in a row, it really meant a lot. I mean, it sucks that we let them down, but it was really nice to see them all support us the whole way through.
Yeah, and it was pretty interesting that you guys, I mean, Summers had a lot coming back. It was interesting that was just the rematch if it was a year ago, and hats off to them. They're a really good program, but I only got a chance to play in one state championship game my junior year. I can't imagine playing in back-to-back state championship games. But what was it like to play in that environment, the crowd at the Carrier Dome? What was that like?
Yeah, it was nuts, especially in the third quarter when we started to make a comeback. The loudest I've ever heard it. And yeah, it was really crazy. I mean, playing there 4 times in 3 years is pretty nuts. So that was cool.
Yeah, I was just going to say that if I had to go back and look at Coach, you may know this. I was trying to look at what the last 4 years, wins and losses of your guys' program. But just again, back-to-back sectional titles, get back to the state championship. What your senior class, Memphis, man, you guys won a lot of football games there.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, they did. And we had 3 of them who played as sophomores and started as sophomores. So 3 of these guys on this team started in 38 football games, which is an awesome experience. And to play 38 football games in a varsity career is it's unheard of. It's 4 seasons, if not more for some teams. So it's a lot of experience and it does a lot for your program.
And Coach, you guys got a lot of juniors back, I think. I saw over 20-something juniors coming back, some sophomores. You lose a lot of seniors, but you got a good group still there.
Yeah, I think so Monday after the loss, I talked to 6 freshmen that will be calling up and went over the new roster. And I think we're at over 30 returners, not starters, but just returners. We lose a lot as far as impact players, some guys that are going to be very hard to replace, but that's high school football. But I really like what we have coming back. We have an experienced, very big line. We have some dynamic playmakers back, as well as a receiver that's going to be moving the quarterback. So I like where we're at. I don't know if we'll be as deep as we were this year, but I think our goals stay the same, and I think we'll make a push for the sectional championship. That's always our number one goal, and then we go on from there. But I like what we have coming back, in the off season, it starts tomorrow. We have a meeting with all the returners, JV and varsity, and we'll get this thing going again.
Memphis is a senior now that your football career is over. When you look back, though, what's going to be the message to some of the young kids coming up through the program? It goes really fast. I think when you're in the program, I used to sit down and listen to some of the seniors and say, I'm only a freshman or I'm only a sophomore. And then before you know it, you snap your finger like, oh my goodness, I'm a senior, I'm done. What would be your message to the young kids coming up through the program?
Yeah, don't take it for granted. I mean, luckily I didn't, because I knew that all my other friends, they did. So I knew not to. And yeah, you definitely don't want to take it for granted because it's special.
What's next for you? You playing any sports in college?
Yeah, I'm going to Cortland to play football.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Quarterback or
Linebacker?
Linebacker. Wow.
Yeah.
Nice. That was a quarterback and a linebacker mentality, coach. You can't ask for a better thing than that.
It's rare. I mean, we've had quarterbacks play both ways before, but usually they're a cornerback or free safety. And this year it wasn't a tough decision, but I obviously thought about it. I mean, Memphis started at linebacker and tailback since he was a sophomore. He was an all-state linebacker last year, and he's one of Cortland's #1 recruits for linebacker. And that's his true position and mentality. But to ask a kid to go play linebacker and then flip the switch and go be calm and be a quarterback within a minute is tough. And he did a good job at it. And we were walking a fine line, the whole season as far as, do we play him? Do we not play him? We had kind of a quick hook with him on defense. But in those big games, when it mattered, I think everyone saw that he is one of the best linebackers in the state, and he put on some pretty good shows. And that's his true position. That's his mentality. And it takes a special kid to be able to play middle linebacker and then step over and play quarterback. And luckily, he went through some injuries, which is expected, but his mental toughness and physical toughness allowed him to toughen him out. And different situation. It's not something you always want to do as a coach, especially when you're running the ball as much as we do with our quarterbacks, but we made it happen.
So last fun question here, guys. The college football playoff gets underway next week. Who do you guys got winning the whole thing? Memphis, who do you got?
I like Ohio State, but I don't know if they're going to pull it off.
No, I can't change. I'm a Michigan fan. My wife's a diehard Ohio State fan. So I have bragging rights the last 4 years in the game. In the summertime, I picked Ohio State to win the entire thing. So I can't steer away from it. I still think they have the best roster in college football. They just have a Michigan problem where they couldn't beat Michigan.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. I'm going to still stay with the Buckeyes. Coach, who you got?
Well, I want Texas to win. I don't really have a team that I follow. I follow coaches, specifically offensive schemes, and I love what they do there. But I think Oregon's going to be the team to beat. They can score. I think they can buckle down on defense when they have to. So I'm thinking Oregon or Texas, one of those two teams.
And what a tough draw they have. They get the winner of Tennessee and Ohio State in the quarterfinal. That's your reward for being the top seed. You get to go play either Ohio State or Tennessee, out of the SEC, which I think will be brutal for the Ducks. But the Ducks are the favorite. I love Steve Sarkisian. I'd like to see Sark make a run. I'm a big Sark fan, so I hope they make a run.
He does a lot of good stuff on offense. It's fun to watch. And as an offensive guy, I try to find teams like that to follow. So, yeah, we'll see. It's interesting. It makes it fun for us fans to get right into it, and have 3 or 4 weeks of this and meaningful games where these bowl games, everyone sits out, and they just got tough to watch over the years. So I think this makes it really fun for guys like us that love the game and love competitive games.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if next year they go to 16 teams and just keep adding on, but we'll wait and see. We'll got to get through this one first, so we'll see what happens next year.
Yep.
But guys, listen, I appreciate you both coming on. Coach, as always, I appreciate you coming on this morning. Memphis, great season, great career, and I wish you nothing but the best next year at Cortland. I know we'll all be following you this way, but congrats on a great season of both you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Rob.
You got it, guys. Appreciate it.
All right. Have a good day.
So that was Coach Curtis Schmidt, and that was his nephew, Memphis Ferguson, who had a great, great career. And now, like I said to Coach, I mean, Whitesboro doesn't rebuild, they reload. And I know they lose a lot of guys, like Coach said, but they bring back a lot of guys as well. So I'm excited to see and continue to follow Coach and his team. And again, congratulations to Memphis. We'll follow him in his career at Cortland State. So thanks to those guys. Thanks to Coach Cahill. We'll look to see. I think we're going to go next Wednesday night. Another Chalk Talk with myself. I'll talk some college football. I'll pick some of those games. College football, the playoffs start next week, Friday and Saturday, and then we'll have the quarterfinal games. Bowl games are underway, so lots to talk about next week on Chalk Talk. So on behalf of the entire crew here on the Mohawk Valley Sports Watch, Coach Pags, Coach Medicis, Statman, and myself, have a good Sunday morning here. The rest of the enjoy your weekend, and we'll catch you again next weekend right here on the Mohawk Valley Sports Watch.